Hey everybody, welcome back to YAFTV. It is Thursday, November 16th, 2023. I am so glad to be back with you here on the channel. Welcome back and thanks so much for all of your support. I'll start with my disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is protected by the United States Constitution protecting free speech, as well as the Sullivan Act and reporting. It is not intended to bully or harass anyone, never to incite violence or hatred or lawlessness of any kind, never to give financial, legal, or medical advice. And so further disclaimers in the description below. So glad to be back with you here. Sorry, it's been a week. I had a death in the family. Close person in my extended family that I really, really loved. And of course, that was due to the shots and the ongoing health effects that came from the shots. And very sad. We keep fighting to try to get people to resist the biomedical tyranny. But that's what's going on here for me. I'm going to start today by talking about the last pope, which is I put in the description of the video. I think it's interesting for people to see this prophecy from Saint Malachy that came out of the 12th century. And it's because it's important for this time because it basically lays out that after Pope Benedict, that the next pope was to be the last pope, but it's kind of squirrely. I'll get into it now, and then we're going to get into, what was the corporate Red Dawn, right, of the Xi regime coming here to American shores yesterday with 400 of our richest people in the United States, they have no allegiance to the United States, paying $40,000 a plate to stand and give a standing ovation to Xi Jinping with China flags going through San Francisco. We'll get into that, but first I'm going to talk about the last pope as prophesied by what was a 12th century Irish Catholic priest named Mael Maidoch. And these are Irish names, and I'm sure I'm just butchering them. But Mael Maidoch, he eventually became named as Saint Malachy, and he had a vision on a pilgrimage to Rome. And what his vision was in an ecstatic trance that he had on this pilgrimage was that he was given knowledge of all the popes who would come until the end of the world in the Christian tradition of Christ's return to the earth. And there was 112 popes that he prophesied, and they have been literally to the key, to the T, accurate. But his cryptic description of the 112 popes, that book, of course, it was recorded and safeguarded in the Vatican archives, but of course disappeared and vanished for a while, only to resurface during the 16th century. And of course, it was obviously doctored for the end times, that we're in. But it goes right up through Benedict, right before Francis. It goes right up through Benedict, telling the very accurate descriptions of every pope. So very interesting. They say that when it was recovered in the 16th century, it was very much a forgery for the end, that we're in now. And according to, this really oddly accurate prophecy, the world, end times should be coming in, maybe not with Francis, but in these last pope situations. And so I want to get into that. So Malachy was an Irish saint. He lived during the 12th century, said to perform many miracles during his time as a priest, miraculous healings, all of this as an Irish priest. And then what happened is that we see all this interesting stuff where all of his predictions came true for the 112 popes. And it goes back, I'll just lay out a few of them. We have Pope Paul the 7th, 1963 to 1978. described as flos florum, or flower of flowers, and his heraldic coat of arms bore 3 lilies. He described each pope according to basically symbols and things that showed who they were. He kept being super right on. Pope John Paul I, named by Malachy as de mediate lunae, or the half moon, and his papacy lasted 1 month, crossing from one half moon to the next. Pope John Paul II, 1978 to 2005, designated as de labor solis, or from the labor of the sun, which is a common metaphor for a solar eclipse. And the Pope was born on the day of a solar eclipse. So it's just all this stuff that went on from the 12th century to now. And then we get Pope Benedict, right, 2005, described as de gloria olivae, or the glory of the olive, okay? And the Benedictine order, of course, has the olive branch as its symbol. And then there is, of course, Pope Francis, right? But with the 16th century sort of forgery of Malachy's, prophecy, it all gets squirrely because they basically tampered with the last popes. But we get right up through Pope Benedict, right? One of the only popes to resign ever in history, and we get the Black Pope, Pope Francis, the first ever Jesuit Pope, coming in and putting in all of the woke Chrislam stuff. Basically, they have a synod in Baltimore this week. They had ousted Bishop Strickland out of Texas, one of the most, I would say conservative bishops. Ousted him. They're bringing in all of this stuff around, making gay priests to be a thing. All of this coming in through Pope Francis, and also his situation with saying that Christianity can include other religions. It can. It's totally about the serving the earth with this climate change UN agenda. The Black Pope. It is literally the Luciferian Pope who is in there now, Pope Francis, and of course he is Argentinian. He is not what looks like even the fake 16th century rendition of Saint Malachy's predictions. Basically, what Malachy's predictions were that are in the 16th century version, because we don't know the original version, was that the last pope would be called Peter the Roman. Peter the Roman would be the last pope. And the description of Peter the Roman in this prophecy is that he would be, actually, he gave him the longest description of all. And what he said was that in extreme persecution, the seat of the Holy Roman Church will be occupied by Peter the Roman, who will feed the sheep through many tribulations, at the term of which the city of 7 hills will be destroyed, and the formidable judge will judge his people. And that was the end of Malachy's prophecy, as done, through the Vatican's destruction of the original and giving this at the end. So Peter the Roman, who is that going to be? And I've said for a long time, I think they're going to bring in a young pope after Francis. I think it will be very much connected to Antichrist. I think it will very much incorporate all of Cartel Babylon's opposite of Christ's teachings is true. That it will be that they will try to put in a scenario where it is all the wokeism, it is all the climate baloney, the earth worship, all of that, and Peter the Roman. We will see. We've said. We know Pope Francis is ailing, pretty much close to death, and they keep propping him up, but he's kind of almost out. out of Argentina, very connected to very dark forces there. And so we're going to see who's going to be the next pope, and could it be the last pope? And is this as we're looking at the world stage and the blowing up of the holy wars that they're trying to jump the shark with to create this distraction that gets people riled up about religious things that aren't really what's happening. What's really happening is the takeover of free societies, takeover of the West, takeover of Christendom by global elites wanting to shut down the biggest force for freedom, which is Christendom, and to create a holy war to make that happen. And so there's that. And so I wanted to let you know about this prophecy about the last pope. So we're going to see Peter the Roman, okay, by Saint Malachy. Is it going to play out? We will see. All right. And so I wanted to get in there. Of course, we've had this incredible, crazy, I mean, just total worship of communist China that just happened yesterday in San Francisco, the APEC. It's like 15 plus nations all meeting to talk about, how we use our taxpayer dollar monies to give to corporations that spend them through U.S. aid to fund all corporate aims to enslave us through all these countries, and I will list who those countries are. But it was a really disgusting display to see Xi arrive with, San Francisco cleared out. It's a zombie town. People can't walk the streets normally. It is, people shooting up, people on fentanyl, the zombie hordes, okay, human feces in the street, all of it. Of course, Xi said that must all be cleaned up. We had Newsom go over there 2 weeks ago, and now Newsom, the first one to greet Xi off the plane. A whole big, plan there. Supposedly with Newsom in the mix, we'll see as far as president. I'm thinking more like vice president under Michelle Obama, which, Vivek Ramaswamy, the last thing he said at the end of the debates, and the last debate, the next one's going to come. It's in Alabama. They're trying to promote Nikki Haley big time. The debates are just literally now just a platform to neocon elevate Nikki Haley towards the GOP for POTUS, but she won't get it. Trump has it. They're going to try to push her as VP on Trump, just to run the Pence-style situation for 2024. We're not going to let it happen. But what we see with Newsom is, of course, this push. And so he meets Xi. Xi comes through San Francisco with CCP flags all over the streets of San Francisco. Okay, CCP flags. This is what I call the corporate Red Dawn. CCP flags. The Xi motorcade running through the streets. They made all of the, of course, protesters. Do Americans do it? Did Americans come out and say, hey, we really super protest that freaking dictator Xi, who stole all our money, stole all of our manufacturing, stole all of our treasure? Did the Americans come out? Not so much. There were some, but mostly they were the people who are fighting to free China, which I'll get into in a second. Who really are the ones standing up. Or maybe I'll just talk about it now. This is the new federal state of China. This is, Miles Guo being held in federal prison by the Biden regime. Miles Guo, who's been trying to lead this new federal state of China, trying to defeat the CCP, okay, with tens of thousands of Chinese who have managed to escape, okay, the CCP, or fighting from within China to take down the CCP, who is a totally illegitimate regime, a total dictatorship, okay, a complete, it's beyond the Nazis. It is operational labor slavery camps, that everything from organ harvesting to creating your cell phones for Apple, all of your crap for Amazon, all of your crap for Target, all of your crap for Walmart. These are slave populations, or else people working at, abysmal poverty level styles, creating all this crap that U.S. buys. And so Xi comes over, I call it corporate Red Dawn, because literally came down the street with only China flags, no U.S. flags, okay, through San Francisco. Disgusting. Goes to Woodside, this nice, beautiful, super elite urban super elite uber suburb of wealth, and goes into this estate and does, this APEC presentation where he gets a giant standing ovation from 400 people of the most wealthy of the wealthy. We get your Larry Fink, Elon Musk, everybody from Blackstone, BlackRock, obviously, but Vanguard controlling it all from behind the scenes. Everything, Amway, every part of our industrial complex that makes our engines of production move in this country were there. The elites, the people who own us through their production lines that create where we're able to get our food, our energy, they were there in that room, standing O for President Xi. 15 other countries there from APEC. No standing O's. Nobody with giant motorcade in the streets with CCP flags. But, okay, New China did come out and protest, and we give big ups and huge thank you for coming out and calling out, dictator Xi, rolling through San Francisco. So they rolled out all of the people who were the destitute, the fentanyl assaulted, the people who were homeless, and have made San Francisco an absolute hellhole, allowed by Gavin Newsom, allowed by all of the Soros-funded DA and all the apparatus, that those people were rolled out. Who knows where they are? Who knows where those homeless, fentanyl-addicted zombie hordes were brought to? No idea what happened to them. Okay? Maybe for one day, the people who live in San Francisco actually could go out without having zombie hordes defecating or shooting up or taking fentanyl or threatening them with the violent behavior that all of these drugs do in the streets. So no, they were making it look like Xi's China social credit score style, and that's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. Meeting with the heads of big tech, meeting with the heads of the CBDC rollout, meeting with Larry Fink, everybody from the big banksters. And so we get the protest from New China, the new federal state of China, chanting, take down the CCP right there. Okay, but they're kept away from Xi coming to town, but they came from all across the United States, these Chinese nationalists who have escaped to the United States wanting to take down the CCP. And so I just want to let you know about them. You can find out more about them at nfscofficial.com. nfscofficial.com. That's New Federal State of China. That's what they stand for. nfscofficial.com. Let's take down the CCP is their big push. Because if you live in the CCP, you can have your organs harvested if you're a political dissident. And we're seeing it here. In the last few days, okay, since this, pitting against, Palestine, Israel, Hamas, Jews, all of this bullshit is about how can we then, it was rolled out for the intense purposes of so many purposes, whether it's the energy out of the Gulf, there in the Mediterranean, the canal, across the Ben Gurion Canal, all of the just destruction and mayhem. The fodder is the humanitarian concern that they bring out with the people. You're going to be concerned because people are being slaughtered in Gaza. You're going to be concerned because the Jews are under assault. You're going to be concerned about all this, stuff to do with the Abrahamic religions, while the Pope, is just like bringing in Islam. And there's going to be a whole nother level of that where it's going to be, we're going to unite under Abraham and only for a short time before we bring in what is the alien AI transhumanist God, Lucifer. But this situation right now with everybody against each other, they're using both sides to say, no, we need to have complete control over the internet. And so you had multiple people coming out with this situation. We have Nikki Haley. She's basically, going to be Dick Cheney, okay, in high heels as, who was it that called her Dick Cheney in high heels? I think it was Ramaswamy. But we get her coming out and saying, oh, no, the first thing I'm going to do when I get in office, we're going to have digital ID, digital verification. You're going to have to say with your name and your ID who you are online, and that's to protect people. They'll be more civil, okay, if they lose their liberties, if they lose their right to speak, okay, their right to privacy. If they lose that, well, then it's a good thing because it's going to fight all the bots and all this. No, it's not going to fight the bots. The bots are operating within, the calls coming from inside the house. The bots are going to keep doing what they do. And with the algorithms they get with everybody's digital IDs, they're going to be able to do it super and harder and more effectively to attack and take down any individual who speaks out as a dissident to the globalist party word. And so that's Nikki Haley saying every internet user must have a digital ID verification. And then we get Hochul out of New York the next day saying, hey, and she looked like she was on full-on Xanax. I don't know if you watch it. I'm going to link it below. Full-on Xanax, I think, trying to talk about, we need to, we're going to put this surveillance in place in New York where everybody online is going to have to, give us, is going to have to tell us who you are and this kind of thing. And she sounded pretty incoherent, but basically what she was saying was that, no, we're putting out surveillance, AI surveillance on all of New York to surveil everybo's social media so that we can use our social media task force to come out and identify these people who are spreading hate online. And then you get Newsom today coming out with the same thing, saying in California, we're going to put out this, massive surveillance system to identify anybody spreading hate online. Same exact thing. Okay, so this is on the heels of Xi Jinping. This is on the heels of what is of course, the social credit score system that they're rolling out of China. That is the model, and they're depending on it because China is in dire straits. They created a massive real estate Ponzi scheme in that country, screwed over millions of Chinese who had literally bought in advance homes that were never built, having to pay mortgages on homes that were never built. Like, that's reality. They're imploding with this debt that they created on a giant Big Short of China, and it's this cross USA China grift that's going on back and forth. Where, hey, we'll buy your worthless treasury bonds that are now only worth 50 cents on the dollar, if you keep giving us money, and if you keep giving us money, let's put it under that climate pact where you just give us tons of money for the solar, the wind, the EV batteries, all of the rare earths that go into it. You keep buying that from us. We'll keep buying your treasury bonds. Try to keep this afloat a little longer. Maybe keep China out of their massive real estate collapse. And, what's most sick is that Joe Biden never in a million years, as somebody who has literally committed treason with his family's crime syndicate, taking all of this money from China while he's in office, all of that happening, coming out, for years and years. Now they're doing it a little bit in, the oversight and judiciary, but it's nothing. It's a nothing burger. Mike Johnson needs to, what are we going to see? Are we going to see anything from you, Mike Johnson? Let's see. But basically, what we're seeing is that they're just covering for each other. This is a let's make it work until we can get to this war, until we can literally get this CBDC system, this social credit score system, to go full on international. All right, we know with the BIS, with the Bank of International Settlements. Now we're getting that, yes, Israel has signed on to the Bank of International Settlements, CBDC. Okay, that is, of course, the mark. Okay, that is Netanyahu signing on the Israelis to the mark, okay, along with Sweden, Norway, and now the entire EU is signing on to the CBDC system, being warned about by multiple members of parliament out of the EU that this is happening, it's coming, and to fight against it, to not take part. But Netanyahu has already signed off the Israelis. I would say, honestly, if I was in Israel, I would get the hell out of Israel. I would get out, because I don't think it's going to stop with Gaza. I'm pretty sure they have a plan to raise the entire West Bank. I think they're going to go full destruction mode. Okay, and this is for monetary purposes and also for satanic religious purposes, that they want to jump the shark to bring in a destruction of that area in order to create this fake holy war, where, of course, I think that what was her name, Suellen, what was her name? Great MP out of England. I'll try to find her last name. I can't find it in my mind right now. She just got fired. She was the foreign minister of England, and Rishi Sunak just fired her. Okay, because she spoke the truth, and she said multiculturalism has always been a Trojan horse for the Islamic Caliphate. That this talking about multiculturalism as a UN promoted mechanism funded by Soros has always been what was meant to be the upcoming Islamic invasion. Okay, the caliphate made real, and we're seeing it in Spain. Okay, we're seeing it in Spain where they're going through a coup, where you have the elected, basically nationalist Vox party being stopped, prevented from forming a government, and that I think it's Fernandez, the former socialist president of Spain, has made deals with the Catalonians who are in prison, okay, who are radical socialists who had attempted to attack Spain a couple years ago. We'll let you out. You'll get full amnesty if you agree, to keep this government going, okay? And this to do with this, exactly what the foreign minister from the UK said, that this is basically a caliphate Trojan horse, just like with the Moors, okay, who had, attempted to take over Spain, okay, over the course of centuries. That's where the Reconquista came from, right? 1492. We think of Columbus, and so many of these protests we're seeing that have to do with the pro-Hamas, all of that baloney. are all happening in Columbus Square, around Columbus statues, all of this. Well, 1492 wasn't just about Columbus, sailed the oceans blue. It was where Spain actually was able to fight back the Moors, fight back the Islamic Caliphate coming up through Spain. And what's going on with the Vox Party there in Spain, that want to keep the Spanish country for the Spanish, they're saying, we're being overrun by Muslims. We need to stop it. This is a Christian country. We want this to remain a Christian country, not go the way of Paris, not go the way of what's happening in England, not go the way of what's happening in Belgium. Or Sweden, we want Spain to not be overrun again by the Muslims and their Sharia law system, because we have this strange, what they call the green-red axis, right? The green-red axis, where you get this climate crap out of the WEF, funded by all the multi-billionaires, and then support. China is the power horse. The dragon that's about to become the snake. That is, all their money, everything going into that they're going to build everything. But the Muslims can be the big disruptors. The big Islamic Caliphate can be the big societal disruptor, the big creator of violence and mayhem, while the Chinese come in and build everything, and build everything. It's happening everywhere. When the Darien Gap, there in Panama, and all across the Americas, this is very interesting with the Chinese and with Xi and his corporate Red Dawn, is that what we're seeing across the Americas and in Australia to a certain extent, but across the Americas, we're seeing this claim to ancestry, to genetics by the Chinese, by the CCP, saying that we have genetic evidence, that it's Chinese DNA in the Americas, Chinese DNA in the Native Americans in the USA, in Canada, Chinese down with the Mayans, and the Aztecs, that they have Chinese DNA, and we have some sort of genetic right to come in here and to try to claim this, these countries, to claim this earth that we are conquering as a sort of a predestined situation, where because there is Chinese DNA in these peoples, that therefore China, is the central ruling government body of the world, and for me, I think it's interesting because I think it is all interconnected. That they do think that there is just a dominance. It's kind of Genghis Khan style. We're just gonna go try to steal everything. Hey, there is that issue of global conquest that happens every few centuries, and the Chinese are doing it. Emperor Xi, corporate Red Dawn here in the United States, everybody bought and paid for. And let's, I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to kind of move on and wrap this up. But I wanted to mention, we had this this congressional hearing yesterday where you had the subcommittee on the coronavirus pandemic. It was a congressional hearing, and it was MTG and a few others there in Congress. And I thought it was interesting to mention that it came out, and I think it was Dr. Jane Ruby who actually put out the information about MTG having stocks in Gilead, CRISPR-9 technology, remdesivir. She had stocks in these things that were her personal stock platform, and I'll link it below. And this is disturbing, of course. We had the people they called were Dr. Malone, who has been very, squirrely at best, but at least very much a person throwing shade, doing a bunch of PSYOP cover-ups for what's really going on here with the biowarfare against the genocide of the human race that's going on. One of the creators of mRNA technology, he kind of ran interference for MTG, saying, oh, these things, you get them in your stocks, you don't really know they're there or whatever. Tom Renz was there, and so far, Tom Renz been doing great work. I don't know what's going to happen there, and keep looking into it. But if you want to tell MTG what you think, okay, that why you have stocks in CRISPR-9 tech, in remdesivir and Gilead, while you're holding these hearings, you could give her a shout out. You could let her know what you think at 202-225-3121. You could use the Bill Blaster app that was created by War Room, billblasterapp.com. You can get it there, and that gets you directly to her if you don't want to fight through the phone lines there at the house. But we need to let people know that we don't accept this kind of situation. You can't hold stocks in companies, okay, that are killing us. You can't hold stocks in companies that are literally responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, when it comes to remdesivir, Gilead, CRISPR-9. So check into that. Give it your time, just a tiny bit of time, to make that happen, where you let MTG know that there's some big questions here that we need to get sorted out. And so I'm going to wrap it up with a couple things here. When we look again at the corporate Red Dawn that just happened yesterday with the APEC countries all coming to meet, but Xi Jinping coming with CCP flags all across San Francisco, no United States flags, coming to the estate there in Woodside, all CCP flags. What the heck, man? Well, let's just remember, China is allied with Russia and Iran. Okay, right now. There's no way that Xi should have been allowed to come to this country. And there's no way that Xi should have been allowed to meet with President Biden, who's under direct investigation for his massive pay-for-play and money laundering with the CCP. That is total treason right there. But we have Xi come. He meets with Newsom, okay, the American psycho of the next 2024 election, probably VP to Michelle Obama, and we'll see what happens there. But we need to understand, China, in all of our conflicts, meaning the deep state USA's war machine and Nikki Haley's bread and butter, is that China is allied with Russia and Iran in these conflicts, okay, whether it is Ukraine or it is Israel, whatever. Okay, they support Hezbollah, Hamas through funding of Iran, and they also have the Taiwan occupation hugely on the table. They push the one China policy there massively in this meetup with the 400 multimillionaire and billionaires who paid $40,000 a plate. Elon Musk, Larry Fink, Blackstone, Agway, all of these companies, these biggest companies that are controlling our agriculture, our supply lines, our energy, our technology, our infrastructure, everything, okay, met with them. Corporate Red Dawn. And that before then, they had also made an agreement with Kerry, like a couple days later, the special envoy on climate change, that walking corpse that is John Kerry, the bonesman, with George W. the second, made massive, huge commitments for huge, larger purchases of all the climate-destroying garbage for Agenda 2030, solar, EV batteries, windmills, etc. Sinopec, a 20-year deal of LNG with Qatar. We get Oregon representatives saying we want to limit LNG exports from the United States. just to make that so much better that they could get all their LNG from Iran, from Iraq. And, it's very interesting to kind of understand that when we look at, what is called the decade of concern, 2020 to 2030, the CCP's accelerated attack on this country. And honestly, today to me, or yesterday to me, felt like the first day of the invasion of a ground war on this country, where you have a dictator from a slavery system, 1.5 billion people controlled by a social credit score that limits their ability to do anything, and all of the infrastructure for what they mean to do to us. Everything from what you can spend money on with digital currency, social credit score that can limit your ability to travel, limit your ability to have any access to basic human services, coming to this country being with a standing O, okay, to say that we love you, Xi Jinping. We're the 400 people that will pay you $40,000 per plate to come and sit here and promise us that we're going to keep grifting together. We're going to make America crap. We're going to literally kill this country, and we are allied with you, the Chinese dragon, soon to be the snake of 2025, the year of the snake for China. That's the big one. The year of the snake, okay? The next year is the year of the dragon. 2025 is the year of the snake. And the year of the snake has been every massive war that the USA has been in, every awful thing. And China bides its time very much superstitiously and, I don't know, occult magically through how they do their Chinese astrology system. And so the year of the snake is coming, and we need to really get out there and understand that the CCP is an absolutely illegitimate rogue dictatorship, enslaving hundreds and hundreds of millions and billions, that the people are scared to death every day, and they have millions in slave camps, creating your iPhone, creating your Target crap, creating your Walmart crap, creating your Amazon crap, and every dollar you spend that supports the CCP is the end of the United States. And I'm going to leave it there. This is Black Friday coming up, folks. Don't spend $1, okay, on Amazon, Walmart, Target. You can't do it anymore. We can't afford to spend any money with these people. They're trying to kill us and enslave us and take over our country on principle. And as Christians, you cannot spend money with these people. Money is paramount, okay? We're given free will, and how we spend our money is so important, and how we carry that free will out. No money to any of these people, any of these dictatorships. Local. I think this Saturday is Buy Local Saturday or whatever. Yeah, buy local, okay? But also then support your patriot companies and the smaller companies online. You've got My Patriot Supply. You've got so many things. I even saw it today, which is really funny. It's called AlexJonesGame.com, AlexJonesGame.com. And it's like a, Mario Brothers kind of Donkey Kong style, like 1980s remix, where in this game, it talks all about Jeffrey Epstein, the Canadian truckers thing. It goes from level to level as a video game for people to have fun with. And I think that's cool, because we need cultural things that we can come together with. And I'm not, I hate being online, honestly. I do it out of love. But, for people who love the game, go to AlexJonesGame.com and download it. It's like $17.76 it costs, $17.76. It's a great Christmas present. It's a great way to educate red pill, people that who love gaming. That's a great thing to do. Gab has now an online marketplace. Gab, total free speech, total Christian. MyPillow.com, work code War Room. Just don't buy from these people who want to hurt you. the thing is that our dollars are our most important thing right now. The U.S. economy, with our 330,000, it's way larger, with all the illegals. But with our people here, we have huge buying power, even in this inflationist, depression that we're in. Every single dollar we spend makes a difference on the world economy. We don't understand our power with our dollar. So don't support them. Don't spend anything on anything China made, anything that comes from these big box stores. Please buy local. Do everything you can. That if you can't get out there and be a committee member or go to, being part of something, at least you can spend your money in the correct way. You're given free will. Support freedom. Support local. Support patriots. All right, folks, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. So glad to be back with you today. I got to plug my wonderful sponsors, c60evo.com, c60evo.com/YAFTV. Use the code YAFTV for 10% off. This is the incredible antioxidant that is C60 Evo. It is ESS60, the patented molecule that is 100% pure C60. And carbon 60 is right up there at the top of what are the most potent antioxidants available on the health market. What it does, it goes into your mitochondria. It takes out all of the garbage. It is attacking sensors. It's going after all of the mRNA crap, all the stuff from the shots, taking it out of the mitochondria, using your glutathione and melatonin just to carry it out and send it out and say bye-bye and flush it out of the body. It protects against radiation, 5G radiation. It is an amazing, incredible supplement, and I'm so thankful for their patronage of my channel. And if you support the channel as a sponsor or just donate, then you become eligible for 15% off with a different email, different code. So there's that plug. Love these guys. They support the channel, and I super appreciate C60 Evo. So thanks for watching, folks. We're gonna there's so much more to say. We're gonna get into it. I'm hoping to be back tomorrow, and yeah, it's been a rough week. But we continue on, right? That's what we do. One foot in front of the other, and, one prayer in front of the other. So we pray, we keep on, we fight. That's what we do. You are free. I'll see you next time.